Hello. So we're back here in the world of UV unwrapping. Press F inside UV editor. Okay, I'll just start from the very top. You can get your two views, right? So say this can be perspective for you to look at things. It already has a checker texture on it. This can be turned into your UV editor, like so. Right? It's not showing up. Just unselect and select it again, and then it's there. Um, a good thing to note, you see that I have my UV toolkit here, and this is the layout that I decide to work in. I could also not use this setup. I could close this, and I could also go to UV and get my UV editor here. And therefore, if I expand that, I'll get my UV editor on the left and the UV toolkit here on the right. And that can work as well. It's up to you how you want to work. Doesn't really matter. But I find, because we have all this wasted space there, so I find this is more intuitive. So I'll just change this to my UV editor, whereas this one becomes my perspective view, and I can always bring up my UV toolkit from here, and I'll just paste it here. If you need more space, just do that. There, everything's laid out nicely. Right, as you can see here, the UV layout looks kind of good. Our squares are looking like squares, except for a few places. Well, they don't really need to be super perfect, but we can fix that. Certainly. This looks a bit wonky, as well as that area there. Right, so let's take it bit by bit and see how we can work this. Um, Alright, I mean, this looks like it belongs here, so let's just go to edge mode. And if you select these edges here, you see that whenever I select an edge, the accompanying edge will be selected here as well. If you press F here in the viewport, you'll see that they are actually the same edge. So I'm going to select this edge, corresponds to that edge, and this edge, and so on. It means that, let's expand that. This whole part is like a jigsaw puzzle piece that will fit here. But we can't simply bring it there without first cutting it. So in order to do that, just select the edges that you think is needed to cut it. In this case, along there. Press cut, and that should be a different piece as indicated by the white bold line. I'll hold right mouse button and go to UV shell. That allows me to select that whole shell because we've already cut it, so now it's a different shell. I'll bring it here, and it's exactly the same thing. What we can do with this is go back to edge mode, select those edges, and you can select one or both of them, and in the UV toolkit, just choose stitch together, and it'll stitch perfectly. So that's pretty much done. Let's look at other parts, and let's go bit by bit when we're doing this. I decide that it's easier if I disconnect things here. So what I'm gonna do is, again, I will actually cut some parts. So I'm gonna select that whole line there. What I'm gonna do is, I think I'll just cut it. So now this is a separate shell which I can bring down. Sweet. Right. Okay, here's another edge which I think could be cut. So I'll just cut it first. That's a different shell. I'll just bring it up. Okay. And we need to fix this bunch here. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I go to UV shell and select this shell. That is a separate shell, cool. That is a separate shell as well. what I'm gonna do is, I think I'll just select the UV shell. I'll hold Control right mouse button, two UVs, allows me to select all that. Let's give this a try. I'm gonna use the smooth tool. I select all my UVs, go to Tools, Smooth, and then you see that there's two options here. I can click this and drag it and it'll unfold for me, like so. So we know that that kind of does the trick, and therefore I can select this UV shell and bring it down again. Right, so if we know that kind of does the trick, let's just do the same with this guy. Hold Control, two UVs, and we'll go to Tool, Smooth, and unfold that by dragging to the right. Right, so let's take it one by one. This vertex, let's just press Q to exit the Smooth tool. So that vertex actually belongs there. Alright, so let's just bring it here down the middle. I want to know what this edge is. It's actually that one. And it goes right along here, right down to here. So we know that it goes down there. Let's just see properly. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll unselect that. That must be a different part of the mesh. So this bunch of edges, I'll cut it. I'll go edge shell. I'll just bring it out for now. I'll go back to edge mode, and I'm trying to find where the connection is. And immediately I see that this is where things kind of connect. It means that if I were to select this bunch of edges, it actually connects to here. So perhaps I can stitch them together. Let's just undo that and say B to A instead and stitch together. It's not really working, so let's just, it's not that it's not working, it's just doing a bad job at it. Right, so we'll just rotate it for now. And I'm going to use one of these. Maybe I'll just say I want it to rotate 15 degrees, like so. So it'll connect there, or maybe just that much. Set the whole thing, push it there. Maybe I could actually relax this part. So I'm going to select this bunch of faces and this bunch of faces, and let's go hold Control right mouse button to UVs, and we're going to use our smooth tool again. We'll just unfold that and it gives us a nice unfold of that. Alright, seems to be doing the trick. Right, that means perhaps we can start combining these edges together again. Press Q to exit the smooth tool. Select those bunch and stitch them together. It's not doing a good job there. Stitch together. No. Let's just go one by one. It doesn't seem like it wants to. Okay, maybe it's A to B then. Oh, I know. If that doesn't give you a nice stitch, just use sew for that. So it sews perfectly. All right. Where does this belong? That belongs there. Oh, okay. Okay, I seem to get it now. So maybe if I select this bunch, I can just stitch it together like so. And if I select this bunch there, in particular these edges here that run along there, we can stitch that together now. Right, sweet. This one and this one, let's just see where it is. Oh, okay. Okay, now I get it. Alright, so this guy, if I would select this guy, I'll go to UVs to UVs. We're gonna rotate it. Let's say rotate 90 degrees like so. And we'll just use the unfold, or maybe I can use one of this unfold here. Doesn't work, so I'll just use the smooth tool to unfold that perfectly. Alright, so that should go somewhere here, I think. Let's just see. Alright, that's exactly where it should belong. Although it looks a bit funny. Oh, now I get it. That's the line. Alright. Alright, so I think this guy actually belongs here. As a matter of fact, this whole edge there is the center line, isn't it? Alright, which ends there. Sweet. So we'll just squash it and flatten it nicely there. And we'll say these edges, they look like they belong together. So I'll just select this bunch and stitch them together. Where's my stitch? There you go. Sweet. Now, does this belong together? Yep. Stitch together. So it's a good plan. Alrighty. So it can be a manual process sometimes, but most of the time we can pretty much take advantage of the tools here and see how that can actually help to ease our work. So I think I'll unfold this. That's not giving me a nice effect. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do a manual thing. Oh, must be because I miss a bunch. So let's just do that again. It's not really giving me a nice effect. It's actually enlarging. So I'll just scale it like so and do a manual process here of trying to align it like that. Because I know they're supposed to meet up there. If I'm right about that, yep, they're supposed to meet up. So I'm gonna select this bunch here. Alright, let's just carefully select them. And we're gonna rotate that guy, bring it here, perhaps, and rotate that. Let's get the same look going on this side as well. Alright, right about there, more or less, right? Let's just bring it closer, as well as this guys. I can probably stitch them already, but I just feel that this might actually help with things a bit. Right, and we'll go to edge mode and we can probably start stitching this together. Right, and go to UVs and select this bunch. And tell you what, maybe a better idea is to just select the whole row like that. Alright, and we'll expand the selection by holding shift dot and we'll just select this remaining. Go to UVs and we'll try to use a smooth tool. See if that does a good job. It seems to be doing a good job. All we need to do is just scale it down here. Alright. Right, and you can surely go in there and do it manually. What I mean is perhaps you can select this bunch and see what unfolding that does. So that seems to be doing a good job as well. Let's just bring it down perhaps. And some parts can be done manually like so. This is not too bad. Just look at the checkered texture. If it's running along nicely on the mesh, that means it's doing a good job. So we got that part kind of covered. So there'll be a seam right down the middle there. That's okay. We'll just assume, this is the more prominent part that the viewers are gonna look at. This will be kind of hidden to the viewer most of the time. All right. The other part that needs fixing is this part here at the top. All right, and we can use the same approach. And I think I'll do just that. I'll just perhaps select this bunch first and cut it, and then that will be a separate UV shell. Alright, I want to see what that one is. That's that one, so it means that if I select this guy, alright, that runs all the way to the back. So let's just cut it first, and we're trying to separate our UV shells. That is one UV shell. That is another UV shell. How do I know it's there? Well, basically, these things are not really the same thing because I already cut it. So if I bring it down, we have one separate shell. Here's another shell. All right, what are we gonna do with this? Several things. We can use the technique we did earlier. We hold while still selecting the UV shell. Hold Control right mouse button, two UVs again. Again, do the unfold. See what you get. Seems to be doing a good job. This is like the tool that I was looking for actually. That just didn't show up here because it used to be a shortcut at the top here. So I'll just unfold this one too. It's like this really organic thing there. Alright, it's not too bad. That's not connecting. So let's just select those two. Just double check that it's the same one. I mean, I kind of know it is, so let's just stitch them together. Or just so, and that will work. Alright, see who belongs to who. Where does this one end up? Okay, it's there. Right, where is this? Right, so we want it to cut right down here, isn't it? Alright, so let's just unselect this one. This is pretty okay. Alright, we want it to cut, not cut there. We want it to cut here, as a matter of fact. So I'll cut it and I'll select that UV shell, bring it away. Let's go back to edge mode. Trying to see who belongs to who. Where does this end? Right about there. Okay. So that means this whole UV shell is supposed to be kind of here, isn't it? And this whole thing, let's just find the right edge that belongs there. Let's see if we can do this very quickly by, oh, that must belong to that guy. Alright, let's just do this first. I'm gonna rotate it manually. Well, we can use this, but this is basically in increments, fixed increments. So I'm gonna use my manual thing here. Right, that edges they belong. So let's just let and stitch them together. Sweet. This one they belong there. So let's just select this guy. What should we do? I think I'll just stitch this one first. Oopsie. So I think the periphery, stitch them together. Not that great idea, but it's fine. Alright, sweet. So these guys, they will line up with that. Oh, it's not good. Let's see if I can do a better job at this. Let's just try to do this. Nope. Does B to A, yeah, that kind of does a trick. Sometimes you gotta flip between the two. What does B to A to B mean? Well, beats me, I also don't know what it means. So let's just sew this thing together. Alright, and I think this should be down the middle there, right? That means we can pretty much select all those and do the smooth unfold, isn't it? Alright, let's do to the end, see what we get. It's not too bad. Should we just do it to the end? Why not? Okay, seems to be okay. Seems to give us a nice unfold. Let's go to edge mode, press Q to exit the smooth unfold mode. We're going to select these bunch of edges. They are supposed to be stitched together nicely like that. If you want, you can, because they unfold kind of, correctly. It's just they're too big. They're not even. So let's just bring it down a bit. That might be okay, right? And we can select the whole shell and just rotate and scale it down. And now's the time to kind of look at our unwrapping and see whether that does the trick. There's a bit of stretching there. Where is it? It's those bunch. Yeah, because it's kind of stretched that way. It's not giving us a nice thing there. So I'll just perhaps we can start unfolding parts here and there. So I'm gonna set this bunch, 2 UVs, 2 UVs. We'll do the unfold. I know there's an unfold here, but for some reason it's not really working. So I like to use this one instead. But what you need to do is you gotta select the UVs in order for this to work. And we can keep on unfolding things, certainly, by adding to that selection. And I'll say this is not too bad. Okay, I don't want to mess it too much. This is kind of okay. Alright, so let's press 3. Alright, and have a look. This is looking pretty much like squares. Oh, that's a bit, well, if you want, you can fix that. But I'll say it's not too bad. I mean, this, in particular, this part, because if you look at the check boxes, they're kind of a bit rectangle there. So we can if you want. Should I? Why not? So let's just, alright, select those bunch, select this bunch, right, then select this and that, that, and that. That seems to be where the problem is. We'll go to UVs to UVs, and maybe I'll expand the selection a bit. How did I expand it? Well, it's actually here under select. You can actually grow or shrink. So the shortcut is that, and that's why I say it's shift dot. And if you want to shrink, it's shift comma. So we can shrink, shift comma, shift dot, it will grow. And we can apply the same smooth tool. Let's just see how that kind of does the job. It does a good job. Now it's starting to look a bit more squarish, and that's about it. I think we've done a good job with this. So I want you to kind of explore this. Perhaps in the next video, or maybe tomorrow, I'll show you how you can do it from scratch. So we're going to practice that tomorrow. See you then. Bye.